Hello and welcome back to another one of my FPL videos. I of course am the FPL train, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at some transfer plans ahead of Game Week 26. Now there's quite a few injuries currently going on in the Premier League right now, so when it comes to getting rid of players, it's been quite easy for me to really choose what players I want to get rid of or recommend getting rid of. Obviously it's got to be players highly owned, there's no point in me saying get rid of this player when he's probably owned by 0.1%, but yeah, it was quite easy though, because there's quite a lot of players that are highly owned that are currently out injured. And when it comes to bringing players in, I gotta say I didn't really find a problem as well, because there's quite a few players at the minute that I personally would like. One player I do actually already have in my team, but I feel like I have to mention this player coming into your teams because it's probably one of the highest picks to get right now, especially if you don't own him. I know quite a few people do own him, but still, the ones that don't, you really should get him. But anyways, we'll go through that later. First of all, let's look back on my previous game week where I looked at these players that you can see on screen. So I recommended in the last game week getting rid of Zinchenko, which was a good idea clearly. Still out for Arsenal. It does look like he will be back soon, but he didn't play. And I said replace him for Nathan Ake. Now this one was actually quite disappointing to be fair. So he only got 2 points, only 2 more than Zinchenko, and he had a double game week. So he didn't play last night for Man City, which I was really shocked. I generally thought he was going to play. Obviously, he started like 8 or 9 games in a row for Man City, so I just didn't see the fact that I just didn't see him getting dropped at all. So I was really quite surprised. So he didn't play in the Brentford game for Man City. Obviously, he did play in the Chelsea game, but obviously Chelsea did get a goal in that game. So only 2 points for him. So if you did get him, I mean, I would be disappointed because I did think this would be at least a solid 8-pointer. So to only get 2 was definitely disappointing. With the next one, we've got Cole Palmer out. So he did only score 2 points, but he did have Man City, to be fair to him. So wasn't expecting too much. Although Chelsea did give a good account of themselves against Man City. They had quite a few chances in that game, to be fair. Not many really fell to Palmer, to be honest, but still, he could have got probably the odd couple of assists in there because he did create some chances for him. But yeah, I'm not quite surprised, but this is also like next few games as well for him. So he's got blanks coming up, a couple of tough games. So it felt like it made sense to get rid of him. And the replacement was, of course, Neto, who did get an assist against Spurs. Bear in mind, Spurs are obviously a tough team to go against, but he did get that assist. So he came away with 5 points. And obviously, we all know Neto is an unbelievable guy when it comes to getting assists. So that one definitely works out well. Really happy with that one. And the final one is obviously getting rid of Pedro, who's currently out injured. Still don't know when he's going to be back. And to bring in Darwin Núñez, which I did say would be just a 1-week punt for me personally. If my recommendation would have just been that. The only reason why I said bring in Núñez is because he has a double game week. Now, he played the first game for Liverpool, but he went off at half-time with a niggle. That's what Klopp said. It was a niggle. He felt something. And he, decided to take him off. Obviously, Liverpool had a nightmare of injuries in that game. So he did get, obviously, the goal. So he got 5 points, obviously, for us. So, obviously, that's much more than Pedro didn't play, which is great. Yet to find out if he's going to play in tonight's game against Luton. I personally don't think he will. If anything, he'll be on the bench at best. But I think Klopp's going to want him for that League Cup final. So either way, he still did get 5 points, and I did say he should be just a 1-week punt because there's other strikers you need to get in the coming week. So I'd definitely take 2 out of the 3 there. I can't claim Aki's a good pick just because I expected so much more. I think everybody expected more, particularly at least play 2 games. So yeah, 2 out of 3 is not bad. Hopefully I can do even better this week. So with the first transfer I got in here, obviously it's going to be the defensive one first, and that is obviously getting rid of Pedro Porro, which is an obvious decision because currently he is out injured right now. He's obviously got the blank in game week 26 anyway, so he's definitely somebody I think you should get rid of. Don't know when he's going to be back. He might be back for game weeks 28, 29, but not 100% certain. But I just feel like maybe it is the right time to get rid of him. I mean, there's no point in keeping an injured player, and it just makes sense to get rid of him. Plus, he's quite highly priced as well. He's 5.7 mil. So, to have a 5.7 mil defender just sitting on your bench, not doing anything, you may as well get rid of him. And the replacement I've got in here is Senesi. Now, I'm pretty sure I've said that right, but who cares if I haven't right? But yeah, I've gone for the Bournemouth defender. Now, he's had a pretty decent start to the season. He's had 17 starts. Managed to get 4 clean sheets. Not really a lot to be fair, but he's got 3 goals and 2 assists, so 5 returns in total. Pretty decent to be fair. Now, obviously, game week 26 is an absolute horrendous fixture for him. He's got Man City at home, so might seem like a week too early to bring him in. But, you know, you could just leave him on the bench for this game week coming up. He's only 4.5 million, so he's an absolute bargain currently. And when you look at the fixtures he's got coming up, he's got Burnley after Man City in game week 27. That's a pretty decent fixture. And then, of course, the big one is, of course, the double game week in game week 28 for Bournemouth, where it's a really nice game week. It's obviously Sheffield United and Luton, both games at home. I feel like 3 Bournemouth players you need are Solanke, Senesi, just because I think he's probably the best attacking defender Bournemouth have got. And then I wouldn't go for Neto because I wouldn't go for double, obviously, Bournemouth defence. I'll go for Tavernier as well. Those are the 3 that I'd look at Bournemouth to get for the double game week. So I reckon if you go in early on Senesi, get him in for the double game week in game week 28. Great double game week. So yeah, I think that's another big reason to bring him in. And then game week 29, if obviously it goes ahead. Obviously, we still don't know. We have to wait for the FA Cup, which is obviously after game week 26. But let's say Bournemouth get knocked out against Leicester. I mean, I can't remember who they're supposed to be playing. But if the other team that was supposed to play get knocked out as well, then, well, Wolves, isn't it? Oh my God, I'm an idiot. If Wolves get knocked out in the FA Cup as well, obviously the game will go ahead, which will be an extra bonus as well. So I'm not sure who Wolves got in the FA Cup. Can't tell off the top of my head. But if that game does go ahead, that's a decent run of fixtures coming up, obviously, after game week 26. So bring in Senesi, put him on the bench for game week 26 against Man City, and then bring him in for Bournemouth away. Double game week in 28, and then potentially a game week in 29. With a midfield transfer here, obviously it's an easy one in terms of getting rid of Jota. It looked like a bad knee injury. Could be out for a long time now for Liverpool, so that was an obvious one. It's a shame really, because obviously we all brought him in for the double game week, and then he goes and gets injured. But yeah, I mean, he was going to blank in 26 anyway. I believe he would have blanked in 29, because I do think Liverpool most likely go through in the FA Cup. And then obviously game week 28 as well, he would have had Man City. So even if he hadn't got injured, I would probably still had him down as a sell. So that one was an easy one. And then bringing in, I've gone for Matoma. Now, quite a few people have been talking about a possible midfielder bringing in terms of Pascal Gross for Brighton. That's obviously because he is on penalties, and he has been on a great run for Brighton recently. I'm going to say maybe not go for Gross, but instead go for Matoma. Matoma's more attacking. I know he's not on penalties, but Matoma's just a brilliant player. Obviously, he's just come back from 2 assists against Sheffield United, but still, 3 goals, 7 assists all season. He's played 15 times this season, obviously, for Brighton. He did actually go away with the Asia Cup for a bit, so that's 10 returns in 15 games. I think he's going under the radar as well. I mean, he's 13.7% owned right now. So for Matoma, considering I think at the start of the season he was about 32% owned. So I do think he's a bit of a dark horse as well. He's also going under the radar, like Groves has been. But I know quite a few people have recently been talking about Groves. Bring him in. You know, he's on penalties and that. Matoma, I mean, he's such a great player. I think he's Brighton's best player personally. I'm not obviously Brighton fans. Brighton fans might say something else, but I think he's such a good player. He's literally just 13% owned as well. I think he'd be great. And the fixtures coming up: Everton at home, great fixture; Fulham away, great fixture; and Nottingham Forest, great fixture. 3 great fixtures coming up. I mean, definitely bring him in for those games. If you want to bring a Brighton player in now, that is the best time to do it. Don't bring him a week later. I wouldn't recommend bringing him in 27 because literally Fulham or Forest, and after that they do actually go on pretty tough run from game week 29. Obviously that's if they do have game week 29 fixture, which I don't think they will. I do think Man City especially will qualify in the FA Cup, so I think that's pretty much going to be a blank. But after that, their fixture run is not great. So if you want to bring Matoma or Pascal Grobe in, you know, you're going to have to do it now. A week later is going to be too late in my opinion. So yeah, I think it'd be great for these next 3 game weeks coming up. So that leads then to the striker change, and honestly, it's a boring one. It really is. I think this is a boring one. It's one I felt like I just had to do, but take Darwin Núñez out. Obviously, still don't know the full extent of the injury, but like I've got Núñez, and I did say when I was bringing in Núñez in, he would just be for a 1 week punt, obviously because he had the double game week in 25. Still don't know yet if he's going to play in tonight's game against Luton, but I don't think he will personally. He'll be on the bench if anything. So yeah, it's been a bit disappointing. He's still got the goal, to be fair to him, but like I said, he's got the blank in 26. I reckon he will blank in 29 and 28 to Man City. So it's not a great run, not a great time to have Liverpool players right now. Where Slanky, I know game week 26 he's got Man City, which is obviously a nightmare fixture. I mean, if you look at if you remember the reverse fixture, he did score a goal. It was obviously disallowed for offside, but you know he could score against Man City. He is capable. He's quality striker, to be fair to him. I know I've slagged him off in the past, maybe not on here, but you know at home I have. But he's definitely smashing it now. And after obviously game week 26, Burnley away is a great fixture for him, and obviously that double game week when I'm sure we're all going to be captaining him for game week 28, where he's got Sheffield United and Luton, and that is a must-have player for that game week. So that's why obviously I'm recommending in 2 Bournemouth players, just purely based on that fixture for game week 28. It is a big gamble, obviously, because if you go for both of them, let's say I mentioned both Bournemouth players and they go through into the FA Cup, obviously that means they will blank in 29. I do think they will go out, to be honest, to Leicester. It's obviously the Wolves game is going to be interesting, but you can always free hit in game week 29 anyway. But yeah, I feel like Solanke is a must have in your team now. Obviously, if you don't have the likes of Watkins and Tony, though, you want to go for one of those, that's fine. But if you haven't got Solanke, you've got to get him in your team. And I recommend going in early because obviously game week 26 is going to be really difficult for him. But as soon as that game week's done, if people ain't got Solanke, they're going to look at this fixture against Burnley and then see 28 being double, particularly those guys probably aren't as engaged and go, right, I've got to get Solanke. He's currently 6.9 million. He could jump back up to 7.1 million in by the end of this game week, possibly. So yeah, he's definitely somebody you've got to get in your team. I'm very strong on that one because obviously of the double game week. So anyways, that is it then for this video. Those are the signings I'm recommending you should go for in the coming weeks, particularly with the Bournemouth players, getting them in early as possible. Let me know what transfers you're thinking about doing, what players that you think we should bring in for this game week I've not even mentioned. Is there a team that I'm forgetting about? Is there a player you think I should have... Well, I mean, I wouldn't bother mentioning, obviously, players to get rid of, because there's so many. I could have mentioned getting rid of Trent, obviously, for example. He's another player injured, but yeah. What players am I not mentioning that we should bring in for this game week? Let me know. Please as well, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.